Here's what happened for the Marc Guehi transfer to fall through. First off, things were looking like a really done deal. Even weeks leading up to the transfer deadline day, it looked like it was a case of Palace just wanted to get through their European qualifiers to actually qualify for the Conference League. And there were even reports on Monday morning that this was a done deal. However, there were constantly conflicting reports throughout the entire day about what was happening with this. He'd even undergone his medical, fully passed, everything like that. Paperwork was ready to go off and be signed for Crystal Palace to transfer him over to Liverpool. The deal sheet was even submitted at 7 o'clock, meaning they had a couple of extra hours to get the deal sorted. Palace had their replacement all lined up, and then the reports are a bit conflicting about what happened next, because some reports are saying he failed a point in his medical, whereas some others are just saying that he was just quite frankly offered more money by West Ham, or he chose that project over Palace's, which, I don't know, as a neutral in that situation, it doesn't really make sense to go for West Ham over Crystal Palace at this point in time. Especially when you're just talking about a straight up loan deal, right? One gets you European football, one gets you relegation battle. Either way, that deal fell through, but it still looked like the Guehi move was going ahead. And then reports came out about Oliver Glasner basically being vocally opposed to Guehi's sale. But Glasner was so serious about not wanting to lose Guehi this season that apparently he was just ready to walk away from the Crystal Palace job. So the ownership were put in a position of either lose our captain and probably best player as well as our manager, but get a £35 million fee for the player, or potentially lose the player for free next year but keep both of them at least for one season. Well, there's still the chance that he could leave in about 3 months in the January transfer window. So from what it all came down to is basically Glasner saying, I'm going to walk if we sell Guehi because we haven't got a replacement in. But you can't really blame Glasner here because, quite frankly, do you want to lose your captain? And if you haven't got adequate support or adequate players at centre-back, let's not forget that's an extremely important position that, you know, if you haven't got a strong defence, then you're going to leak goals all season. And I don't think Palace can afford to leak that many goals because they can't, quite frankly, score that many goals either. So ultimately, I would probably put this on the ownership model at Palace because they had plenty of time to get a replacement lined up for Guehi. They knew all summer long that he wanted Liverpool and a fee was likely to be agreed, but they never sorted out a replacement.